Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. This is FaZe's microphone. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. This is my microphone. Mic check 1 2. All of us are live, huh?
Yeah.
Okay,
live.
sweet. Welcome to another Ball and Chain podcast. It is episode 234. Every time I say the episode, you're like, oh my god.
I know.
It's never going to go down. Like, okay, we made it to 234.
How many hours of my life you've made me sit in front of a microphone?
But this is over the past, 10 years. Well, maybe not 10 years.
More than
well,
that.
yeah, actually more than that. Holy cow.
What's that
Started
average out
back
to
in the
be?
condo.
That's right. It was back in the condo
goodness.
when we started.
Yeah.
I got my Macintosh computer, and we just sat in front of it and just recorded into it. And then we're like, hey, maybe we should use a handheld mic. And we started using the Rock Band microphones.
Right.
I remember that.
We plugged the USB microphones
Yeah.
in.
I remember that.
Yep.
And that actually worked out surprisingly very, very well. Just plug and play. There was no XLR. There was no mixer. It was literally just plug these
We'd
microphones.
sit on the floor in front of the coffee table with the computer.
Right. Well, that was before we actually did video.
Which I hate you do video.
And not only do we do video, we do 3 videos.
Right.
Actually,
It's,
4.
it's
different
awful.
angles.
It's
There's-
awful.
There's 4 if you count phases. Anyway, all right, guys. So we've got a pretty awesome show for you today. Something new that we've never done before on the channel. So I'm pretty excited about that. But before we get into the rundown and everything, let's introduce everybody. I'm Mox Mornigan. I've got with me It's My Angel, and then also our stream operator Phase 12345.
What's up?
What's up?
Gotta change
So
this.
how's everybody doing?
Good?
I mean, I think this is the first show of 2021. I'm almost positive. I should have looked it up, but I didn't.
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure it is. So I kind of want to go through and see what we've been doing, what's been going on outside of gaming, but then we'll kind of get into it. So starting with you and your blankness on our outline, what have you been up to, Angel? What have you been up to?
My blankness.
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 Or would you like us
Work,
to work?
kids. I mean, there's not a lot you can get into with 3 kids. Got my teaching license renewed, so going to be doing some work. This is news. This is not news. Everybody that at my current school already knows this, but going to be doing some work part-time. Just working with small groups in a local charter school, so that's exciting.
Sweet. Which is it's in Inglewood, right? Or close to
It's like
to
8
Inglewood.
minutes away. So.
Okay, so it's not 35 minutes away like you are now.
And which I'll still be going there and doing that job too. I mean, it's not enough to have 3 kids and 2 jobs. Now I'll have 3 jobs. The preschool, this job, my photography job, and then the 3 kids. So, yeah.
And this podcast.
Yeah, all the other extraneous stuff that you make me do.
I make her sit down for 2.5 hours, maybe a week, and we don't even do it weekly, which I'm going to make you guys do weekly. Well, at least you and me.
I'm going to make
I think
you do weekly.
I don't think John can do it weekly. I think he can do bi-weekly.
I can do bi-weekly.
bi-weekly. That's okay. We'll manage. We will manage. FaZe, what have you been up to, buddy?
Been working on the garage quite a bit.
The garage.
Oh yeah.
What are you doing in the garage?
So I've actually been hanging up cabinets
Ooh.
and got a brand new table that matches the cabinets. It's actually from a vet hospital thing.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I got those for free for helping a buddy get some for his garage. So he gave me those, got those hung up, all looking real nice. So tomorrow I'm going to tackle cleaning up the rest of the garage and, sweeping it out, try and get both cars in the garage now.
It's such a great feeling when that happens.
It is.
For us, it lasts about a week,
It does.
and then something happens and the garage is full again.
I actually get upset when Andrea doesn't park in the garage when it's clean. It's like, it's there, just park in it, make me feel good for once. What I do matters.
We had the garage clear, at least one side of it. We've never had both cars, and I don't know if both cars would actually fit. They both will fit, but getting into the one,
It's tight.
It'd be tight.
Yeah.
We'd have to take out our cabinets on the side for that to actually probably. Anyway, but yeah, ours was clean for a week, and then we had to bring in Sawyer's trampoline, and that thing is it's only like this big around, But since it's got like the poles, the whole thing is attached, like intertwined. So you can't just take the poles out in two separate pieces. You have to take literally the whole thing apart to pull these poles out. So basically, you pull the poles out, they're still attached, and you just like kind of lay them down. So now instead of it being 3 feet wide, now it's like 17 feet wide.
Oh gosh, that sounds awful.
And then Christmas happened, and you had all the boxes.
Oh my god, we're still getting rid of boxes, and I'm just gonna burn that stuff.
I burnt mine one night, and the flames were probably like 6 feet tall.
Yeah,
It
let's
was
not
huge.
Not exactly allowed in city limits, so let's just kind of keep that under.
Yes, I'm gonna go over to John's house and burn these like 15 pounds of boxes.
I accidentally threw a paint can.
Oh God!
In mine,
like a spray paint.
Yeah, spray paint.
Did it explode?
It exploded really loud, and like I thought lights around the neighborhood would come on because this is at like 3 or 4 in the morning.
Oh my God!
Like when I'm wide awake and everybody else is sleeping comfortably. Yeah, but no lights turned on. Like Andrea stayed asleep, which was pretty impressive. So
just start doing it every night then.
I probably should.
Just get everybody used to it.
We'll see.
The least flattering camera angle.
I've got a couple things that I've been working on. Kind of like John putting up cabinets, but we're doing a section wall or a 3/4 wall. So like the way our house is set, our living space is set up, it's like one giant room. Like you go from the dining room to this little like nook room to the living room. It's kind of like an L, and there's nothing. There's no differentiation. There's no differentiation. Right, and when we moved in, there was like this brick wall that was like waist high, and it was very like 70s-ish. Like,
the house was built in the 70s. It was like this brick planter, and it just had rocks in it, which to me just seems like it's just gathering dust, and there's no good way of cleaning it.
Yeah.
So I've never been a fan of that.
And basically it was just being used as a shelf for garbage. If you didn't have a place to put, not actual garbage, but if you didn't have a place to put something, this brick wall, it's 15 feet long, and it would just pile stuff, and then eventually it would just be like, oh, we've got to clean this. And that would take a whole day. How our dining table
was at our old house.
Yeah, so I'm building a wall that goes 3/4 of the way up, so it'll have a pass through and from the dining room into what we're probably going to be
to actually pass through.
Right, you can see through it, like ceiling through. So it's not going to go all the way to the ceiling to kind of give it a little bit more open feel, but not like closed off. As if it was like all the way to the ceiling. So I'm working on that.
It's gonna have shelves on both sides.
Yeah, that's the other thing that we wanted too, is we wanted built-in shelves. The one side will have kind of like pictures and like kind of small knickknacks or something like that, and then like the other side on what we're calling the library or study or whatever is going to have like some of the kids' board games, so that I can clear off some of my stuff or their stuff off of this back shelf, because we're kind of running out of space.
That sounds like a
games
big
are like going
Just
all
stop
over.
buying board games.
No, whoa.
You can't do that.
That's blasphemous. Get out. But yeah, so that's happening, and then I also built, you can't see it, but an overhead camera rig above us.
Hopefully it doesn't fall and crush us.
It's not gonna fall.
There's no camera angle for that?
No, I don't have a camera angle for it, but it's
it's there.
Yeah, we we don't use an overhead camera for podcasts, but for like our gaming sessions with like Gloomhaven and stuff like that, we want a tabletop shot. For most of my videos for the YouTube channel, we get a tabletop shot, and it was just a pain in the butt setting all that equipment up just for the one angle, and then bringing it all back down, because there's basically 2 tripods that were held up in place. And it was really sketchy when we would do the Gloomhaven one, because the bar would stretch literally 16 feet across, and there's these 2 wobbly light stands that are holding this thing up.
Yeah, it's kind of scary.
And yeah, so now we've got this nice contraption above us it's mobile, it's secure. I promise.
The pipes aren't mobile.
The pipe's mobile. The middle one is. So there's two that are drilled into the studs that are parallel, and then there's a center one that connects the 2, and that center one can kind of adjust, go back and forth. So essentially, I can put the camera anywhere I want inside this 6-foot square.
Oh, no kidding, it is.
Yeah.
Wow, I like that feature.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah. So.
That's such a Dotson thing to do.
Hey, you know what? Funny.
You got lead pipes hanging from the ceiling.
Funny you say that. That's Dad's idea.
Like that's like so my my countertop in the garage.
Yeah.
I put it on wheels so then I can move it around, and Andrea laughs at me because like I can move it around. And
Yeah.
like, those big blue cages I have, they're on wheels, so I
Yeah.
can move them around. And
Makes sense.
She laughs at me for it. I'm like, this is a really good idea. Like, you drop something and it rolls under there, like, no big deal. You can just roll it out of the way. That's
Right.
awesome. That's a great idea.
Yeah, yeah, I thought so. I mean, originally I was just gonna, because I knew we needed one over here for the Gloomhaven and like the board game shot, and then I needed one over here. I was just gonna put two up, and Dad was like, "What happens if you ever need to like move something, or you know, we probably should connect the two." I was
Yeah.
like,
Well, there's not many people that hang cameras from the ceiling while they play board games.
there's
So-
not, but we do.
We do.
We do. Get wrecked.
Boom,
So-
shakalaka.
Boom shakalaka. All right. So yeah. All right. So let's kind of go into the overview here. So we're going to be talking about the Walking Dead season 10, not finale, I guess season 10 extra episodes. That's going to be at the end of the episode because we're going to have spoilers and all that stuff. It's a cat. There are going to be spoilers, so we'll warn you before we get to that point. I forgot to put a spoiler thing on the actual stream, but that's okay. We'll warn you. We're going to talk about some Halo Infinite news that came out recently. Originally in a blog post, which their blogs are just so dry and long. But they put out a video kind of answering some additional questions because apparently there was a ton of questions. So we'll talk about that. Diablo 2 announcement.
Ooh, let's
Whoop, whoop.
go.
Diablo 4 information as well. So kind of excited about that, which I'm just found out that Diablo 4 is not coming out anytime soon.
Yeah, that's a big sad face.
Yeah.
I heard the same thing, and so I'm really looking forward to Diablo 2 now. So
Yeah, same here. And that's due out in 2021. So they have committed to that. But when the developer says we're not sure when it's coming out, then you know it's like, whoa, that's gonna be like, you know, that tells you right there that they're nowhere near completion. But they still say that it's gonna be out for the PS4 and the Xbox One consoles. So like last generation. So like can't be too far off, but anyway. Let's see here. Then we're gonna review the Exit game series. We've played quite a few. We played three of these. Played three, and we're gonna review the series as a whole, not getting into any spoilers or anything like that because they are one-time play games. And then we're actually going to give one away to a subscriber. So we've got a contest that we're going to be doing this episode. So stay tuned for that. All that information will be just after our review. And so let's go ahead and start with what we've been playing, as we always do. Who wants to start? Face.
Oh, you want me to start?
Sure, go for it.
Oh, okay.
Rocket League.
So, yeah. I don't know why. This is just like my go-to game. And probably because
There's not much else to play.
like it's dry out there, and my skill ranking has dropped tremendously. So been working back to get up in that like 9. I've been champ now, and it's like the top 9% of players that play the game.
Dang.
So yeah, it's pretty intense at that level. Like
When do you start making money?
I don't, and I won't.
I mean, top 9%. I mean,
Like individually skilled, I am not top 9%. It more comes down to my team, and like we just know where each other's at all the time, so
There you go. Okay.
it makes up a huge difference. So
that's exciting. All right.
so yeah, that's what I do. Rocket League, baby.
There you go.
I watch Andrea play Animal Crossing every now and then.
Speaking of, I played with her a little bit today.
I saw your wedding venue at your town.
Oh, did you?
It was pretty neat.
Thank you.
Pretty neat.
Thank you.
I'm kind of jealous. 'Cause,
Yeah.
Like, ours looks like crap. Not crap. Like Andrea has like this really cool bamboo like mountain, I guess you could call it, and it has like streams and stuff through it, but
Very cool.
it's not too bad. Yours was very interesting though. It's
That's
cool.
all her. She's done all of it. Like
It's cool to see other people's.
It is. Have
towns
you
and stuff.
have you tried using any like the dream codes or like going on the dream? Yeah.
No,
So
not
you
yet.
can go like lay in your bed and it will take you to other islands and you can't mess around with them. Like you can't
like physically
use a
maybe?
shove right. It doesn't. You can't interact with anything really. But you can go and just see what other people have done, and there's some pretty awesome ones.
When you do that, do they know that you're in there? Oh,
No,
so they
you can
can't-
go to random. Yeah, it's you post a dream code. So if you want if you want your island to be visible to others, you just have to basically let them know, like, hey, I want this dream code. Now, if I were to go and edit my island, it stays in the state it was
when
I submitted that dream code.
Oh.
So
You have to submit a new one to.
right
Like,
to update
your
it.
Dream.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I introduced Andrea to a couple of Facebook groups. Ducky introduced me to some of them. And that's how I've got a lot of things done in my island. Yeah, some of the treasure islands are pretty awesome.
I try to get onto the treasure islands and stuff. Like, I have like 0 Nook miles because I just constantly go back and forth from like Mystery Island to my island back and
Well,
forth.
the treasure islands are modded. They're modded islands that people like. You can go on, and sometimes like you'll win a trip to it from doing something online or whatever. Like one is called, I think, Cookie Milk is one that I got onto, and they'll have a map and they'll show you, like, okay, here's I have all of the antique set, all of the bamboo set, all of the kitchen things, and like so like everything's laid out. Like one time I won a trip and you had 5 minutes to grab as much stuff as you could, and then you can get out and you get to keep it. That's like one of the things. Like it's like a grab and go, like shop at the what do they call that?
Free.
Speed shop.
Right.
What was the one?
Dash. Something dash.
There was no, I'm thinking of it was back in the 90s.
Supermarket sweeps.
Yes, there you go. Yes.
Um,
Where people like, and I didn't understand that. Like people would go like drive around their cart and they would just kind of pick up one at a time. Like just
Take your arm and go. Whoosh.
And I don't know if like there's a rule like you can only have so many of each item or whatever. Like duplicates don't count. In that case, then yeah, that wouldn't make much sense. But
So, but I got on for that, and there was one time I got to go for like an hour, and I could go back and forth as much as I wanted.
Oh, wow.
So I got a lot of items that way.
That's nice.
Um,
I'm so jealous because like I saw your house and I was like, man, she has like so much more cooler stuff than me. Like, the coolest thing I have is a King Tut helmet, and like whenever I run really fast, it knocks me over because the helmet's too
Oh,
heavy.
really?
Like I trip and fall because
Really?
the helmet's
That's
really
that's
heavy.
funny.
So
Are you familiar with the Mario update that's coming out?
Andrew said something about an update, and they're gonna do like Mario themes.
March 1st. Yeah, March 1st you can buy Mario thing stuff, and the warp tunnels actually work. So if you go down one warp tunnel, it'll put you on the other one that you have on your island.
No way.
Yeah.
that looks pretty sick.
It's pretty awesome.
Huh. I kind of want to flood our island.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to make it like a
All
big
water.
pond.
There's a lot of really cool stuff out there. Ducky's is really awesome if you ever get a chance to
I'll have to
hit
go
up
to
her
hers.
island.
I'll have to go to hers. Yours.
She's done a lot of hers off of Instagram.
I
So you're
gotcha.
just going to go there and pick what you like. I've just kind of randomly made mine off the top of my head and haven't really
Do they have
got much inspiration.
DIYs in that like grab thing? Or
Some
is
of
it-
them.
Some of them do.
Some of them you can go and just learn DIYs. Some are just material islands to just go and get materials.
Yeah.
So it varies on which one you happen to go to.
Are these like Nintendo modded ones? So what happens when Nintendo gets hip to this? They're like, okay, so whoever's been to this island, we're just gonna ban your account.
I don't know that they. I mean, first of all, Nintendo. The whole thing is about going to friends' islands.
Okay. I just think it's kind of. I mean,
They're pretty well.
999 million bells.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's a lot of bells.
They're
a lot of
they're
bells.
pretty well published on
Okay.
these boards. I mean, they're not trying to hide it in any way, shape, or form. So,
Yeah.
I don't think it's a.
So you've been playing Animal Crossing. You've been playing it. I mean, we played Fortnite
For like 2 seconds.
for 2 seconds.
It's pretty much Animal Crossing because that's usually what I can manage to do quietly while I feed Everett,
Yeah.
and he naps on me and I play, and that's kind of what happens.
I do need to sit down and play for a little bit because I've got a really cool idea. You've got like the whole like side of our island kind of organized and everything like that, and then my little like kind of edge of the island is kind of like what it was originally.
Because you laid it out, and I didn't want to touch what you'd done.
Right, I've got an idea of what I want to do on that side. I just need to sit down and do it.
Andrea owns our island. I don't touch anything.
Oh, he's barely played.
I'm the same way. Like, I think I have a side room. Or no, I have a back room, and that's it.
Yeah, I think I just got my upstairs. Or no, I got my side room. I don't know.
I don't know. I gave you money so you could. I've been trying to leave you money and DIYs and stuff that I have that's extra.
So Dad says to us for supermarket sweeps that you can't leave anything on the floor, and there is a limit as to what you can pick up. So
okay.
Makes sense.
So I've been playing a couple different games. I went back and actually, now that I'm reading this on our outline, the last time we did podcast was before the end of the year, because we talked about the games we missed or games we want to play or something like that, and Doom Eternal was on my list. So I went and played Doom Eternal over the past couple months here, and I have to tell you, that game is really cool. If you have, I think it's free to play on Xbox Game Pass. So if you have the Game Pass, you can download it for free and play it. It's a phenomenal game. It's it's Doom. Like, you're killing, demons, and yeah, it's really cool. And then I also started playing, and I streamed the first couple hours of it, The Medium.
How was that?
It's a little rough around the edges. I don't think it's going to get much better, which is unfortunate. But their idea is really cool. So you play as the protagonist that you're playing as is this chick that she basically can go back and forth between these two realms, like between Earth and another realm, and the other realm is live at the same time that you are. So like when you're walking around this building, you're walking around this building in this other realm. And sometimes there's things that are different between the two, and some parts of the game will go completely into that other realm. Sometimes you're playing both at the same time, which is super trippy. Like the game like splits either vertical or horizontal, and like you can see both your characters in the real world and in this fake world or whatever. I can't remember what they called it, but there's certain things. I'm trying to think if there was another. There's some things that you have to do like in the one world to affect the other world. Like it's kind of got like a puzzle aspect to it. So it's really neat. I mean, I enjoy it. I wish it's one of those games that I think is suffers from being not cross compatible, but multi-generational. So like it came out for the Xbox and it's out for the Xbox Series X. Ugh. So like it struggles because they clearly designed this game for the Series X because they want to show off the new hardware and all that stuff. I think that's probably what I mean.
But to dumb it down,
I mean it. So that, and kind of like with Doom Eternal, that's again a day one release that was on the Xbox Game Pass. So like literally, I think we pay $14. I pay $14 for Xbox Live and this Game Pass, and like. Get access to this brand new game. Like, that's awesome. So I don't know.
Did we talk about Grounded?
We did not talk about Grounded, which I looked it up. They did update it, so it's got a couple updates.
I have looked up as well, but I don't think it's storyline progression.
Right.
I was reading the patch notes.
Yeah. So if you want to talk about that.
So for Christmas we had
Santa.
Right. Passes and headsets so that we can all talk to each other. And we played Grounded, which is, what is it called? Not beta. Is it beta?
Yeah, it's in beta right now, I guess, is what you'd consider it.
Right. So you can play it. It's just not finished. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Essentially.
Basically.
And a little bit of Minecraft mixed in there.
Kind of, yeah. So like you're a teenager... But realistic Minecraft.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're basically a teenager that's been shrunk. You really don't know why or how or whatever. You just kind of wake up and you're tiny. Yeah. Enemies are bugs. And...
spiders. I think they added bees now.
They did add bees. Mosquitoes as well. But you're... Basically, the goal is survival. Mm-hmm. There are some story elements to it. like at the very beginning, like they list little mini goals. So to like find the mysterious machine, and you have to go to the mysterious machine, and then you see that like there's a laser and it's being blocked. So then you have to go and unblock the laser. So there are, it's not just survival. There are things to do, and some kind of a story behind it. I think it might have to do with figuring out why you've been shrunk and maybe to get unshrunk. I don't know.
Right.
There's just not enough of it released yet to.
Yeah, it's still in like early access. That's what it's called, early access. So they basically will release a game that's partially the way done. I think in our instance, we had like a good like 50% of the game, and they'll open that up to users. They'll play the game, give feedback. They'll run bug tests and all that stuff, and as they'll push out updates and progress the story. So like right now we're at the end. We're not at the end of the story, but we're at the end of what's available.
Right.
Clearly, there's more to do because we've unlocked this kind of underwater, or no, it was under the tree. Under the tree kind of science station, and there's a quest giver there that's only given us like 2 quests I think so far. He's got like side missions.
You
and
have
things.
you got to find these like chips. He's a little robot dude.
Right. So he's giving you like side missions and things like that, but like he's an actual quest giver. Like he tells you like, hey, you should go under. He pushes you into like the pond area, and that's like kind of where that section of the update was that we were playing. But it was a fun. I mean, it's a fun
interesting.
game.
There's a lot of building. So you can build up like a home base. You have to eat and drink because you have like your thirst and hunger indicators that contribute to your health.
You craft weapons and tools and armor.
Right. Things that you find, you can if you can find these little science stations, you can analyze them, which kind of give you more ideas for recipes.
Right.
You can get really fancy in your bases, and they have like decoration, like chairs and tables. You can't sit in the chairs, which is kind of weird.
Maybe
but,
they will eventually.
Right. So like you can kind of decorate your base to look all homey with like pretty little lights made from bug parts and
sap and stuff like that.
Yeah. So it's interesting, and the base that we ended up building we had like a 3-story base with all kinds of fancy like roofs and like made from clover leaves, and it was, I don't know, it was fun. An interesting idea. Just wish it had more story and it was finished.
Yeah, I wish it had more story. That's where that game suffers, is there's not a lot of story.
At least not available yet.
Yeah. But I'll be interested to go back and play it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that was that again. That's another one that you can play on that Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
Like so. And then we also been playing Gloomhaven. Actually, the 3 of us and Andrea have been playing Gloomhaven. We finally broke out of the tutorial, the first 5 scenarios, and we did the 6th scenario, and then we did a side mission.
Side mission, yep.
Where we probably should not have won. I think we kind of cheated.
I didn't mean to.
I'm just gonna keep
figured you could target the same person.
You would think you would.
times.
Like, hey, it says target. I'm just going to target this guy again and again and
They
again.
say no. For some reason, you're not allowed to.
I mean,
in magic, it works like that.
Right,
I was
exactly.
going off of magic.
Exactly. Hey. So anyway, no, we've been playing Gloomhaven, which Jaws of the Lion, it's a phenomenal board game. I really enjoy, like, we've got a couple of the games that like the game board is inside of a book, like a spiral-bound book, so like it opens up, and that just works out so well. I mean, some games like Mansions, like that's never gonna happen. Like there's just too much board for that to be in a book, but something like Stuffed Fables, the Gloomhaven game, that
The Quirky Circuits does
Quirky
that.
Circuits, that all works really well. So yeah. So Jaws of the Lion. Let's see here. Okay, so let's just jump. We're gonna jump into our review.
Exit.
Yeah, let's do the Exit game review. So Exit. This is a game series that has a ton of different different chapters. I mean, what would you? I mean,
it's different games.
They're not compatible with each other in any way. You don't have. There's no like overarching story or anything. It's just like a game in a box. And there's just a bunch of different
exit room. So like I picked one up. Actually, I picked one up for my sister because I was looking for something to get her and her boyfriend for Christmas, and I was like, let's do a
like a date night.
Date night in a bag because she's got kids. It's hard to get out. COVID. It's hard to get out.
Right. Nothing's open.
Right. And we had enjoyed. We went to an escape room.
Physically.
A couple years ago.
Yeah,
you and I did for our anniversary, and really enjoyed it. So this is supposed to be basically an escape room in a box. And our anniversary came up right after Christmas. I was like, you know what? It's inexpensive. They're I think $15 a box.
You can get them on sale for $10.
And so I was like, well, you know, let's pick one up for our anniversary. So that's what we did. We played one. It was late at night. We got very frustrated.
Yeah. Well, the one we played, and the thing is, to kind of give you a little preface, each one of them has like this level indicator at the bottom left. So from novice to expert, we did a 4 out of 5 star one. Mm-hmm. So never doing one of these types of things, we just jumped head in.
Well, I figured, we play a lot of games, we can figure it out.
Right.
It's not a game like that. It's riddles.
Right.
Essentially, it's riddles and puzzles, and we've found that after playing a couple of them, while they're still very tricky, you start to learn how the game designers kind of think. There were things, different puzzles to solve that maybe we would have never thought to solve it that way. But once you kind of learn, they don't necessarily always look at just this book, or they don't always necessarily. You have to think a little outside the box.
Right.
And once you that kind of has helped, I think, knowing.
Yeah, all the answers are included in the box. Like you don't have to know any like history or mathematics or anything like that. All the answers are within the box. Mm-hmm. They usually come with some sort of book that kind of gives you some clues. They have different puzzles within the book itself. There's different pictures and things like that for
hold
like
it up to a camera so they can't see it.
So there's a couple different pictures. Which one am I looking at here?
You can look at your Mox one.
So there's a couple different like pictures that kind of give you an idea of the room, and that's kind of what they tell you like at the beginning of this whole thing, where there's no game board. You have to make up the game board in your head, and they'll supply you with some images, but really what you're trying to do is escape from this room.
Right.
And each of these rooms has 20 different riddles? I think it's 20. Is it 20?
I don't know.
I think there's like 20 riddles. I don't really think I can figure that out anytime soon.
So,
but there's like a deck of cards, and
you've got a few different decks of cards. Well, basically a few different decks. You've got the riddle cards, which go A through whatever it is.
Right.
You've got puzzle cards. So the riddles are. It's kind of confusing. The riddles have shapes to them.
Right.
You can see here. So this riddle, it would be the like plus sign riddle. You have first clue, second clue, and the solution. Right.
So if you get stuck,
you can refer to these little like hint cards. So you've got each of them. So here's like the plus sign, the star, the L shape, the moon shape. So when you play, you lay these out face down. First clue, second clue, solution. For each, you've got a stack for each of those.
I think there's
puzzles.
20 riddle or 20 puzzles, I think is what it is.
Then you have your riddle cards, A through whatever. Those are lettered cards. And those go face down. And then you've got the numbered cards.
Sorry, this is one of the games that we've actually played.
So they're not in order.
Yeah, so they're not in order.
So then you've got your answer cards, which are numbered, and those go face down. So you've got your answer, your help cards, which are green, your riddle cards, which are red, and your answer cards that are blue. So yes, you starting off the game, and usually what they'll tell you is, you organize your cards out, not looking at any of them. You have a book. They all give you a book, and then you have usually this little disc. All of them have some kind of a disc or spinner. Some of them we've seen some with colors. This particular one had different key shapes, so
Which I thought that was pretty clever.
Yeah, you've got a like an end, like what do they call that part of the key? The little
The head. The lock.
and then like
pin.
and then like the stem, like the long part of the key, and then the part that goes into the lock.
Oh,
So
handle.
you've got 3 different sections of the key.
I just feel like I'm saying words now.
I know. I feel like I'm playing that pyramid game.
Bookshelf. I can do it too.
But I thought that was really cool, and they don't do that for all of them. But I thought it was really cool because, like, when you look in the book, like you're opening up different locks and stuff like that, which I was like, oh,
Right.
that's really cool. But
This,
that's only
by the way, comes from the Forbidden Castle.
right. Forbidden Castle. Yeah.
And then around the outside of every single, in all the games we've played, the outside ring of these spinner things is the puzzle shape. So the plus sign, the L shape, the star shape, the things that we kind of said match up with these. So that's all you're given. Basically, here's the story. You were walking through the woods and you encountered this castle and you decided to go in for the night, whatever the case may be, the cabin or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you're locked in. How are you going to escape? And you're like left with these stacks of cards, this little spinner deal in the book, and you have to just start.
Right.
There is an app that goes along with it. It can explain, once you've done it a few times, you can lay it out yourself. You really don't need it to explain how to lay out. It'll also read usually in the book, the very first page is a letter. Where's the book? Not that book. The book.
The other book.
Yeah, there's like an instruction manual book.
Yeah.
But this book, and like this one says, welcome my guests, and it has like this whole letter. So usually there's some kind of, it says, let the game begin. So that's usually in the first page of your fancy book, not your instruction manual book.
Yeah.
This one, you can see when you're reading it, has a few words that are like bold type, which should be kind of a clue to you.
Yeah. There's some things that are very like very prominent, like they're
Right.
very like stand out. Like and then one thing that I noticed with this one in particular, because this is the level 4 one, right? Yeah, 4 is you would sometimes get clues to riddles you didn't have the answer to yet, or you didn't have the question to yet. And that's one thing that they talk about is if you don't have the question, you can't solve that riddle. Even if you guess it, you still can't solve. Like you can't, break the game.
Right.
So like with this one, you were given like 2 or 3 riddles ahead, like down the road. You're like, God, which one do we do? And like, so you have to kind of, by process of elimination, go through like, okay, we've got this much information for this one, this for this one, and then only a few things for this one. So clearly they want us to do this one first.
Right.
Which I think that probably frustrated me the most. Is like, oh, we've got all this information. I don't know what
do we do with it?
Holy cow. Like, is any of this supposed to cross over? And the answer is no. There is very little crossover from one to the other.
Well, right. Like this book, and they tell you, get scissors out, get different things, because you're going to destroy the pieces of the game. Like you might have to fold them, you might have to cut them, you might have to.
I just broke our rug. Crap.
Oh my gosh.
You might have to do different things to them.
We don't want to spoil too. I guess we don't want to spoil too much, like, because this is a single play game. Like when you play the Forbidden Castle, once you finish it, you won't play it again. The whole box is recyclable. You won't play it again.
Right.
The book, like Amanda said, is you destroy some of it. Like this stuff here, this all was one page inside the book.
Cut up strips.
Cut up strips. That was all one page at one point in time.
The cards, sometimes you have to cut up
the
a card.
cards. Sometimes you cut the cards up or bend them or fold them, draw on them or stab them.
Yeah.
Stabbing
Yeah.
cards. God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Little tip, when it says that you should press hard, go get yourself like a push pin
Yeah.
or something. Don't try to use like an actual pen
I
to try to go through layers
broke one of our
of-
mechanical pencils trying to push down. It's like push down hard. I'm like,
What's supposed to happen when you push down hard? Yeah, no, it's so much easier if you just
grab
get
a
a push pin. And
yeah.
that was one of our other frustrating things is sometimes you're like, I know this is what we're supposed to be doing. Why is this not work? Like, this doesn't make sense. What does this doesn't make sense? And then you may find out that you really, I did. You may pull a help card and go, yeah, okay, this is what we're doing. I got
We
this.
got
This
that.
makes sense. Then you pull the next clue card and you're like,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
I'm doing this
Still
too.
doing that too.
Like, what? Why is this not working? And then you pull you're like, okay, fine, whatever. I give up. I need the solution card.
you flip the solution card and it's like exactly what you're doing. You're like, oh, I am doing
this
this.
Still isn't matching up right.
Right. Because some of the stuff is it can be manipulated by the person doing it. Like things aren't lining up exactly the way they're supposed to.
Right. Like maybe you need to line up something on these dials.
Right.
And then line it up with something in the book and then draw lines to have them. And if you don't draw it exact,
it might not give you the right code or whatever
to put into your spinner.
But you might have exactly all the right tools, and the right orientation. It just might not be lined up correct. There's there's definitely some human error that can get a little frustrating. We didn't have as much of that with the level we did with Eli. Which one? We did the Enchanted Forest. That was a level 2.
The difference in that one had a major difference. So that one is more for kids. And it even says that it's a level 2, and the age on here is 10 and up versus some of these that say 12 and up. This one, you're given the whole book, and it just said basically go. You can look through this whole book, use what you need when you need to use it.
Yeah.
This one had you using certain pages at a time. So you would do the first 2 pages at a time, and it would say, don't look at the next page yet.
It would tell you when to flip the page.
Right. So that one was a lot more linear.
Yeah, in that one, you didn't have multiple quests or multiple riddles going at the same time. You literally, here's the card that you're working on, here's the page that you're supposed to be on, solve the riddle.
Right.
You solved it, next page. Which is good. I mean, the difficulty level, I would say, is pretty accurate. If you're not familiar with like exit games, or I mean, heck, even with like our knowledge of board games, I would say starting out with a 4 probably wasn't the best idea.
Yeah.
Now we've got a couple 3s, and we did the Abandoned Cabin, which is a 2.5. The Abandoned Cabin, I feel like we did pretty good.
We did better. We still had to pull a couple help cards.
I think, yeah. And they've got a scoring system too on here too, like a certain number of stars based on how many, like how fast you do it, and how many help cards you use or don't use, or whatever. So
that app will have kind of ambient music in the background, the phone app that I mentioned, and also a timer, because you need to know how long they're supposed to last. 1 to 2 hours is what they all say.
How long did that last?
This cabin one, we were probably at it for like 3 hours.
The
castle one, we were probably at it for
late. We were so tired, so frustrated.
Well, and I was like, we need to finish this. We are not putting this box away.
And it was really late at night.
Yeah. I think we started at like 11:30ish. It was really late when
the
we started.
the 2.5 one I think took us an hour and a half to 2 hours. So you based on the time you finish, it's a like a star rating level, and then how many help cards you pull brings down the number of stars you get. So at the end, it'll say, when you hit that you've achieved it, you'll put in how many help cards you used. Now, if you pull a help card and it tells you something you already knew, you don't have to count that against you. So usually what we'll do is kind of set that in a different pile, and say that didn't count against us. It's really satisfying when you read a puzzle and you get it and you put the code in. So you spin your 3 little wheels, and when you spin your 3 little wheels, there'll be a number. So like in here it says number 1. So then what you do is you pull answer card number 1 and you flip it, and it will say, it'll either say wrong, which read it.
Read the card carefully.
Read everything.
When you flip the card, read the card.
Or it also say
the hard way.
Right. Or it may also say that it could be right. Where did you see it? And it asks for like a list. It's got a bunch of pictures here of different doors, cabinets, cupboards, things like that.
Basically, if you open up that book real quick, so like it's got pictures of all of these different like locks and different doors and things like that you see in these. Mm-hmm. So you got to tell it what one you kind of what
like the
riddle
square,
you're working on.
We're working on riddle square, and it was on this door, right? So I put in the code to riddle square. It came out number 1. I pulled the number 1 answer card, and it might be right. It's got a picture. I have to find that door, and then it tells me to pull answer card. Another answer card. You pull that answer card, and it will say, "Yep, that's right. You solved that riddle." See, fortunately, it opens. Now, with this, you get riddle card Q. So then you start getting more of these red cards, the riddle cards, which will give you more riddles. So, like, for instance, this one, riddle card R, has these rune stones. And then you got to figure out what the heck am I supposed to do with these. And so it just kind of spirals, I guess. And you just kind of start picking up more of these cards. And I solved that one. I can maybe set these things aside. They also all have some mysterious items that you use. Forbidden Castle, your mysterious items were these cutouts of these, like...
It's an armor set.
Yeah.
So
you might... It might
too
say...
far into it, yeah.
Yeah. I enjoy them.
So let's kind of break down like our normal, like, and I really need to figure out how we're going to do this, like, because when I review board games off of the podcast, it's a little bit different than here. But generally what I'll do is kind of go through like gameplay, artwork, presentation, story, and stuff like that. So for gameplay aspects, I feel like it's kind of hit or miss. Some things are... What's that?
You talking about some of the riddles?
Yeah, some of the riddles and some of the riddles and the way they work.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of hit or miss. I don't enjoy the stabbing. I really I don't enjoy the stabbing. Like stabbing the different part, and not because I don't like breaking things and don't like, ripping the game apart and stuff like that. Like that was hard. That was hard to get over. Like the first minute after we did that, I was like, okay, whatever. We're tearing this shit apart. But I don't enjoy the stabbing stuff because a lot of times what you're doing is essentially connecting the dots.
It has to be very precise.
Right. And when you're stabbing, through multiple pages and doing, I don't want to, I probably have already said too much, and trying to connect these dots, like it doesn't work.
When you were trying to feel around for the bumps and you didn't.
I like that
You didn't feel the bottom. You didn't feel the bottom bumps, remember?
Well, that's because I didn't go down far enough.
Right.
Yeah. So, like, that was my fault.
It was almost like creating a braille code or something.
That was pretty cool.
Spoiler alert.
I know.
Not really. We didn't say which game this is in.
There's probably like 20 of these, but yeah, there was one where you had to,
So you're saying even blind people can play this game?
Probably not. No. Probably
They'd
not.
be really good at that
because you need to see where to poke the holes. Like
they could feel it. It'd be all right.
But yeah, like... I feel like it's hit or miss, but for the most part, like
when a challenge works, it's very rewarding.
It feels really good too. Like
it does.
when we got the abandoned cabin, so far I think has been my favorite because there's enough challenge and there's enough like aha type of moments that
it really
makes you feel good. I wish they weren't one and done types of things. I wish there was variations. Like maybe like you would have like the Forbidden Castle. And, like, maybe there was, like, it was randomized, maybe? I don't know. That might be going a little bit too far.
It would be really hard to do.
Because, like, I don't know. But, like, it would be nice to go back and play. But I found this one is a level 4. We haven't done a level 3 yet, so the 2 that I picked up were level 3s. I would like to go back and try a 4 and kind of see if, now that we know, like, how the game actually works and what to expect, we might be able to get a little bit faster than 3 hours.
It's supposed to take 1 to 2.
Right.
And we've only ever done this with just you and I, and the one we did with you, me, and Eli, and he was not super into it.
Yeah, I asked him how he liked, because we did
it was boring.
Yeah, we did the Enchanted Forest with Eli, our 10-year-old, and he said it was boring. But
it's not fast paced enough.
It's just not fast paced enough. It's not highly interactive.
I'd say it is highly interactive, but it's just.
But I mean, if you're playing with
sitting multiple... and reading and thinking and
yeah. I mean, if you're doing it by yourself, I mean, you're getting all the interaction. But like, if you're playing with 3-4 people, there's only so many people that can look at this little book at one time. And I think
but I think you could go faster if you have more brains thinking about it too.
Maybe. So gameplay, I'd probably give a 7, about an average. Artwork and presentation. I think the artwork's pretty good. It's not like overused, overdone, but there's the different environments that they put you in. I really liked the cabin where you were literally in the cabin and like the book showed you the different walls.
Right. Yeah, there was a map.
That was really cool. So you could you're basically dead center in this cabin, and like the different pages showed you the different, and you had some of the some of the cards were different parts of the walls and stuff like that. So you can almost build this cabin out, in real life, which was pretty sweet. That'd be neat if more of them did that. But yeah, I think presentation wise, it's seems fine.
For trying to give you an escape room in a box in your living room in a small, inexpensive format, I think it does a good job.
Story and theme, not much story here. I mean,
it's usually like, hey, you got lost, you got locked in, try to escape my evil plans, ha ha ha, kind of thing.
Yeah,
they're all kind of that way.
Kind of cheesy.
The
Enchanted Forest.
Enchanted Forest was cute though.
Yeah, because that had to do with a lot of like story,
nursery rhymes. I think you met characters like Cinderella and the Frog Prince and things like that as you went through. Yeah.
Screw that riddle. Hate that one. Both of them. Those were terrible.
Yeah. So that was very thematic and kind of cutesy as far as story goes.
Component quality? What would you say about like the cool? I mean, they're meant to be thrown away, so it's not like you're looking for like some high quality stuff. I mean, the cards do their thing.
The spinners. I mean, the spinners are fun. They all use the spinner though. So far we've played three
the ones that
different
we've used so far have used the spinner. I'm assuming they all do.
I think they all do.
Yeah.
So once you understand how to use it, it's kind of like, eh. But at the same time, it's kind of nice that the three we've played so far, the spinner has been different. I mean, while it's a spinner...
What's wrong?
Nothing. Oh. While it is a spinner, they all look different. One's keys, one's mostly colors and shapes.
Yeah.
I forget what this one was. This one the colors and shapes one.
That was the arrows.
This one was like gems and numbers. Yeah. So yeah, they all have some very different components to them while being the same.
Yeah. So. Replayability?
None.
0. Well, this is that's a big one for board games. Like, how many times can I get this to the gaming table?
I don't know that you can think of this as a board game, though.
I know. Yeah, I know. I was just...
That's the thing. They're not meant to be... They're meant to be little single experiences. Like, the reason I got it, Date Night in a Box.
Date Night in a Box, yeah.
It's a one-time... think about spending $15 to go to a movie or $15 to go out to an escape room or whatever. Like, it's cheaper than doing one of those activities that you would go and do one time. So you got to think of it more along those lines.
So what would you give it? Would you give it a scale of 0 to 10?
Overall?
Overall.
7 or 8.
Yeah, I think I'm in the 7 range. I think there's enough there to have a good evening. A couple glasses of wine.
And they keep me coming back for more.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I feel like
I want to play more of them.
They're well built, well thought out. Some of the riddles can be challenging, and some of the riddles can just be downright dumb,
and frustrating.
That's what I mean, frustrating, dumb.
You're like, that was stupid. Why didn't I get that?
Yeah. Well, there's two different types of frustration. I think there's frustration is like, wow, I'm stupid, I should have gotten that. And then there's frustration like, yeah, this isn't right. Like, it says that it's right, but I did the exact same thing that it said to do, and I came out with something different. Yeah. So there's a handful of those experiences, but I feel like overall, like when you buy one of these, you're getting a decent value. So I would say 7 out of 10. So, all right. So we're going to give away one of these to a subscriber, and it's going to be either on our YouTube channel or also on Facebook. So if you're on YouTube, if you want to enter twice, you're more than welcome to. Won't limit you there. So all you have to do is subscribe to the YouTube channel or follow the 72 DPI Online Streaming Facebook page, and then comment down below inside the stream or inside the video, video on demand. If you've ever done not an exit game, but like a live exit room or escape room, and what was your experience? And kind of, let us know what you think about those, because this is very much a exit room in a box.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever done an escape room, John?
I have one. I think I've done two.
Two.
They're a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We did one once. It was just the two of us. It did not go very well.
It did not go well. But I will tell you this, because I've done, so now I've done this type of exit room or escape room. I've done one in person, and then also for work we did one virtually. Mm-hmm. And that was terrible. Like flat out awful. I would rather do this. I would rather go through the Forbidden Castle again and bang my head against the wall for 3 hours than do that. It just virtually, like an escape room, like have basically you're a GoPro on someone's head, and you're like telling this person, okay, walk over here, look over here, okay, look over like it just was just like so much like commands, and when you have 8 people commanding this one person, like it just didn't go over well.
Does not compute.
Does not compute. They tried, they really did, but no. Not
the
so
chat
much.
votes it a 7.5.
7.5. But yeah, so so anyway, let us know what you think, what you guys like as far as your exit rooms. Get subscribed and follow the channel. We'll pick a winner at random next episode next Thursday. And then we'll have to be in the United States. Sorry, I'm not shipping a box outside of the United States. So that's that. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. First giveaway. Hopefully we can do more of these. If it goes well, we could do more, more giveaways like that. So anyway, Johnny D, you want to talk about some Diablo 2?
Yeah. So last weekend, Blizzard held their yearly convention. BlizzCon, however, with the current state of the world, they were doing it on an online event. So pretty much they talked about several different games that they're working on, interviewed people, designers, artists, stuff like that. So they were doing, what was it? Diablo, the Diablo franchise teamed up. Who'd they team up with, or they got bought by somebody too, didn't they?
Yeah, they brought somebody in for it for the remake, for the remaster.
For the remaster,
right? Yeah. So I can't remember what they're called. Oh, I should have wrote it down. I don't remember who. I don't remember. It was I don't remember. I don't want to say because I don't know. Anyway, yeah,
I can't remember.
So they've got a team working on like the remaster, and this is truly a remaster. Not a remake, which I can appreciate. Like they're just upping graphics. They're making some things that are toggable. So like people like they're talking about how like some people like to play with like the map on, and go from point A to point B, and some people don't. And so like they're making that stuff kind of like you can toggle that on and off. Auto gold pickup.
Where you just like walk over.
You can walk over it, which in the original Diablo 2, I believe you had to click on it. And in like more modern games, you would just walk over it and your guy would just pick it up. So that's something that you can toggle on and off. So like basically they didn't go through specifics, but they gave a couple of examples. But apparently there's going to be a huge long list of things that you can make this game, kind of however modern or however not modern do you want it so true to the original? You just click all off and just play as the original. But yeah, I enjoy the remaster versus the remake version. So
yeah, I hope they keep I like the remastered. My one hope is that they keep like the online play the same as they did in the original, where like you could create your own game and say, okay, we're doing bail runs, and then you go to that game and then you do your bail run and then you're out, or like you're doing like the Mad Cow level or whatever the case was.
Oh,
like,
I forgot about the Mad Cow level.
Yeah, you just hear a whole bunch of moos in the background. That was pretty funny. But I hope they keep that the same rather than like the style of like Diablo 3 where it was pretty much you're just like in story mode 100% of the time. Yeah. That was kind of annoying, but I don't know.
They did talk about how it's going to be cross progression, so like your game saves can be used since they're using the new BattleNet. You can play your game on any console and you can pick up and play without any issues. They said cross-platform play, however, is not going to be, for multiplayer co-op, is not going to be available at the start, which is unfortunate because I really want to play this on PC. But if you're getting it on the Switch,
so I'll probably get it on my laptop.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I didn't think about it. I was like, man, I got a laptop that I never use. So I'm going to get it on the laptop first and foremost.
Sweet.
That way I can,
I'm going to get on the PC then.
Click a bunch of different buttons. And Andrea plays on the Switch often, so like I don't know if I'll have rights to the Switch all the time.
You could just do what Eli did and buy his own.
I'm not doing that. Although this game would be worth it, I am not doing that one. So I'll probably clear off my laptop, get it running at top peak, and then download Diablo 2 and get it going.
I'm excited. They're also adding a shared stash, which is great. So like if you wanted to share weapons or equipment from one character to the next, you had to have like a mule character. So like you would basically this one character would go back and forth between your. It would kind of act like your shared stash almost. Whereas like more modern games nowadays, like Torchlight and like Grounded does the same thing, where you can basically put your stuff in a stash, and no matter what person you're playing as, that stash is you're able to access that stash and stuff like that. So let's see here. There's going to be controller support for PC, although I don't know why you'd want to do that. Well, John Heberlein did say that the controller version on the Xbox for the Diablo 3 was actually pretty good. But still mouse and keyboard for days for these types of games, I think.
I feel like it'd be awkward, especially if you're like teleporting or whatever. A guy at work made a pretty good point the other day. Like he was like, yeah, if you're teleporting with the controller, like normally you like control, how far away you want to teleport, or like if you want to go very far or really short, like that's going to be like in my mind that's a huge difference when you're doing a mouse or a controller. So
yeah, being able to pick where you want to go.
Exactly, or like targeting enemies or whatever the case may be. I just think in my mind it'd be easier with the old school mouse and keyboard.
Yeah,
but that's just me.
Let's see here. So as far as like the cutscenes and things like that go, they're going to be all remastered, reanimated. I think I heard that they're all the same audio, like all the same voiceovers and everything. That they're just upgrading them in HD and stuff. So as far as like 7.1 surround and stuff like that for people that have 7.1 on their computers,
I don't know.
So
I got speakers that make noise. That's all I know.
Right, exactly. So, yeah. So I mean, that's pretty much all. I don't think there was. I mean, I'm sure there's more in there. I really didn't care for the way they did this Q&A. Did you watch it live or watch any of the?
I didn't watch it live. No.
So like they had like the guy from Diablo 2, the one guy from Diablo 4, and then one guy from Diablo the mobile game, Immortal, I think. And basically they did kind of like a round robin, asking like questions. Like the head franchise owner guy, I wrote his name down, Rod Ferguson, he basically would ask the Diablo 4 guy question, then Diablo Immortals, and then Diablo 2. And you're just watching like, I really don't care about the Immortals. I don't want to play this on my phone. Like, I just want to know about these other two games. And it's just like trying to keep track of who is talking about what game. Was just like, God, can they just talk to one person at a time, please? Like, I don't know. But yeah, we played talk about like one of the games that we played the most. It's up there with like GoldenEye or Ocarina of Time.
Yep. Duck Hunt, that was another big
Duck
one.
Hunt, Battletoads. Battletoads, and like, I think Diablo is probably the only game that I probably played more on PC was probably Baldur's Gate.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was, we had Wolfenstein, but I didn't really care for Wolfenstein. We played Doom quite a bit, though. I don't know. We probably played Diablo a lot more.
Yeah,
especially when Diablo 2 came out, it was kind of that
was the one. I didn't even play that much online for Diablo 2.
We played Myst.
You played Myst.
That's what we play on the computer.
Oh, you played Myst online?
Which is
oh yeah, like kind of like an exit game. Yeah.
Myst online, just Myst.
Okay, whatever. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Didn't have online back then.
Right. Well, when we had AOL, but America Online.
Dial up.
Right. Yeah.
Who picked up the phone? No.
No, my PC gaming experiences was pretty much sitting with my dad at the computer together playing Myst, trying to figure out the riddles.
Nice.
Dad liked to play Flight Simulator. We had like the joystick, which we tried to use that for like Doom, and that was terrible.
That was awful. That was like using the steering wheel for like like a shooter game.
Oh my god, that was awful.
That and Pitfall. Pitfall was another one.
Oh yeah, we had that
Played
Pitfall.
the demo of that.
Well, which Pitfall was it? Because the one that we had wasn't the Atari one. It was the one that actually, it was
Like a side scroller.
it was a side scroller, but you could move. I think couldn't you move like forward and back? There was a little bit of depth to it. It was still
Corey had it
sprites.
at her house. We played it at lunchtime.
I can't remember which Pitfall it was, but it was hard. I was really young and stupid. I still am stupid.
I remember the sound of the leopard or the tiger that would chase you down and kill you. I don't know.
We were talking about retro video games the other day.
Oh yeah.
Remember? We were talking about the
Oh, I thought you meant
Oregon
work.
Trail. No, you and I. Oregon Trail, and then Amazon Trail, and Yukon Trail, and
I didn't
the
realize
museum.
there was such a thing. I was like, Amazon.
Yeah.
I just thought Oregon Trail, and they're
No,
like, yeah, you got bit by a
and it was
rattlesnake.
Mac
You're dying.
did all those, and they did like the Museum Madness game that I had like a demo of, and all these other like mech games that were big.
I never really got into mech games. Fro had like the.
Mech is the publisher.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking like Mech Assault and stuff like that.
No.
My bad.
The publisher.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
Anyway, as far as Diablo 4, there really wasn't much that I
Maybe
pulled.
it's Mecha. Sorry.
There wasn't really much that I pulled from it. Player-to-player trading, they talked about class-specific quests and specializations was something they also mentioned. So, like, depending on what class you're playing as, you can go down a couple different routes and stuff like that, and there's going to be specific things that you can do. He said some are going to be deeper and more fruitful than others, but it's more or less they're using it as like a story, a way to drive the story. Diablo 4 is going to be more of an open world game versus, do this to unlock, kind of like a traditional like level based system. They mentioned that they're trying to do a more of a balancing act between they don't want it to be WoW, essentially. They don't want you to turn the game on and have like all these question marks and exclamation points, be like, oh my god, and be so overwhelmed. But they still want to have like certain like meaningful quests and things like that, and random encounters and things. They referenced the one writer that was writing this article referenced Red Dead Redemption, which is notorious and well known for their kind of side missions that feel like they're part of the overarching story, but they're really not. They're just kind of like a side quest that just kind of happens. Like you're walking down the road and there's some guy that has like a wagon with the wheel that fell off. You walk up and talk to him, and he's like, "Oh, my wagon fell apart, and my cattle ran off. Go chase them down or whatever." And that's like kind of giving you something to do while you're on your main quest or whatever. So they did mention couch co-op, which would be interesting, I guess. I don't know, like same screen, and that's specifically for like the Switch and like the next gen consoles. They said that they would like to include it but like they don't want to again break the mold of what makes Diablo. And when you have two characters on one screen at a time, and when they get so far apart, you have to zoom way out to include them all, and like you start running into technical issues and things like that, and then it becomes something that Diablo originally was not. So, bless you.
Thank you.
So, I'm excited about Diablo. They did announce not the assassin, but the rogue.
Yeah,
Did you see the video?
I did see that, yeah, and they showed some gameplay too with the rogue too, which was pretty sick.
Like
nasty.
the trailer of her like coming up behind the priest in the pew and like setting the ears.
Setting
like,
ears down. That was pretty.
Did you watch the very end of the trailer where he picked up the ears and hung them up in the church?
Yeah, I was like, oh my god! I love that they're like including the ears still. Like that is absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
Love it.
That one thing they did talk about in the conversation for Diablo 4 is how people have become like desensitized from like violence and stuff like that, and you know Diablo 2 and Diablo really kind of set not a standard, but really kind of set the bar for like demonic presence and like demons and like a real dark and gritty type of game. And they're like, how do you one up that nowadays? You just walk in a room and it's just covered in blood and body parts. He's like, well, you'll have some of that, but you can't, you know, if every room looks like that, then you kind of lose the sense of, you know, you lose the immersion or the suspense and all the feeling of the actual game. So I was happy to hear that they're not just going to like bloodbath every room. So, but yeah. I really hope you play Diablo 4. I think you like it. I think you'd
it's
like
gonna be
it.
so good.
I have no desire.
They have an assassin in Diablo 2, so you could play it.
They have an Amazon. She's pretty BA.
Hell, at Amazon.
I've never seen a Diablo game.
That's a cat.
I have no idea. I have no desire.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna. That's my goal is to get you to play it because I think you'd like it. I think you would. You like kidding out your characters. You like going on like these quests and missions and things like that, and like customizing your person.
We'll see about all this free time that you're saying that I'm gonna have.
Well, Diablo 4 is not coming out for another 15 years, so we've got time. All right. You got anything else you want to add to Diablo talk?
It keeps me up at night.
It keeps me up.
I just can't wait.
I considered installing it on my computer. I don't know if you can. I don't know if I'd be able if it would run on my computer. I wonder if we could download it on Steam and make it work on Steam.
You might.
I don't know. I do have my old computer from when I was in college. It has Diablo on it. I could plug that in.
I think I have the Diablo 2 disc at the house.
I think
I think when you went to college, I bought my own, or you bought your own, so we could play. And so good.
I remember. So, Halo Infinite. I can never remember if it's Infinite, Infinity, or Infinite. So, 343 had a blog post, like I said at the top of the show, kind of detailing some of the new Sandbox things and some of their design choices and things like that. After they've got some massive amounts of criticism after, what was it, last year's first showing or whatever?
Ugh.
Yeah, it looks kind of rough. It looked like an Xbox 360 game.
Yeah, it was pretty sad.
But so some of the things that they were talking about, let's see here. So weapons are going to definitely have a day one patch, and they will evolve over time. They are conscious of editing and changing and tweaking weapons. Apparently, I'm not aware of this because I haven't finished Halo 5 and I've stopped playing it, but we'll get back to it eventually. But apparently, they made some tweaks in Halo 5 for multiplayer that drastically affected campaign. And apparently, people are just like mowing through brutes and grunts and like with some certain weapon that you're not supposed. I don't know. They didn't go into, but basically they said we learned from our mistake and we've given ourselves the opportunity to edit a weapon in multiplayer and not change it in campaign. So I feel like that's something that you should have done from the start. But hey, that's just me. The other thing that was really cool that they talked about is they're going to be adding weapons as the game progresses. So these are going to be brand new weapons that no one's ever seen before, classic weapons that they're going to bring back. Halo 1 pistol, pow, pow, pow. Things like that, and they'll be able to kind of tune them to how they were when they were in the original game. So that's kind of what they're going for with this release is they want the weapons to appear as they did in their original titles, and then also have that same feel and work as that same type of weapon. So you're not going to have a pistol that feels like a rocket launcher type of thing.
I don't know. That Halo 1 pistol felt better than a rocket launcher.
Yeah. I agree with that, definitely. Let's see here. This is the thing that I'm excited about, because I feel like this is something that this should just be. It should just be. Vehicles are going to have specific damage. So, like, if you shoot a tire, the tire is going to go flat. Right?
That's pretty good.
So, like, in the original,
that.
like in, was it Halo 3? Was it Halo 3 or Halo 2 that introduced vehicle damage? You could just
Halo 3, because Halo 2 we would play cat and mouse and you couldn't.
Oh yeah, was it?
No, maybe it was Halo 2.
Yeah, I think
it's Halo 2 that you could get vehicle damage.
Yeah. So basically, they still have like an overall health, right? But like if you shoot out a tire, it's gonna change the way the car drives. Things like that. So I'm kind of curious because they've got a bunch of gas canisters on the back of that thing.
Ooh.
So
Go
boom. So they're looking for more immersion and things like that, and that's something that's kind of that's just a little thing that makes me just really giddy inside. And then the last thing that they talked about was physical damage. And they specifically stated things like the spike grenade. When you hit somebody with a spike grenade, since it's got spikes, it's going to do initial damage to the person. And in some cases, like with grunts, if they're if they've got so many hit points left and you hit them with a spike grenade,
they'll just
die and the spike grenade will blow up. So I'm hoping like regular frag grenades do that. You just walk up to someone, throw a frag grenade in their face, ping, and it explodes.
Knock them out.
Right. So anyway, I'm excited for Halo.
I just can't wait for
Another game that's not coming out anytime soon. Right? I doubt it. We got to buy a whole nother system for that one, unfortunately.
I'll let you borrow mine.
All right. So that's the end of the podcast. Do we still want to talk about Walking Dead, right? Are you gonna be able to stay awake for this?
I'm trying.
Okay. Well, this is your
the
jam.
the little one has not been sleeping well lately. So I'm lucky to get 4 hours total broken up into about 3 or 4 different segments of sleep each night for the last 2 months. So
okay. Well, we can kind of breeze through this. So there are going to be spoilers. This is the end of the show. So I really do appreciate you guys watching. We're going to continue on with the Walking Dead. Our
recap. Up to date on it?
I don't think so. I need to go back through and watch all the.
So are we going to spoil this for you?
I don't know.
I'm going to try not to spoil it for you.
Well, if you're talking about it, it's going to spoil it.
So the last thing I remember is Negan in a hospital bed.
Negan in a hospital bed.
Like
that's probably like 2 seasons ago.
So the priest and Negan were in a trailer or whatever, and like Rick was about to kill Negan, but
very long time ago.
Didn't kill Negan, and then Maggie.
Maybe we should save this for next episode when John's not here.
Maggie and them like are going to start going against.
Yeah,
Rick.
You're talking like 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
Was there like a time lapse?
There is.
There's almost like a 7-year time jump or something like that.
Because I remember seeing like previews of what's the little girl?
Judith. I was gonna ask, how old is Judith in the last?
I haven't seen her.
You haven't seen her?
Seen her grown up yet.
Oh, okay. Okay, so tell you what, we will not talk about it to this episode.
I'll catch up.
We will talk about it next episode when he's not here, and then the following episode will kind of. But anyway, so.
Sorry, I just wanted to make sure we
do want to talk about the really cool thing that they're doing real quickly. So the season 10 is over. They've
announced that season 11 is going to be the last season.
Right.
Of Walking Dead.
Yeah, of Walking Dead of this. But they've started since then they have started a few other branching stories like
World Beyond.
World Beyond, which I think is only a limited. I think it's
Two-season.
2 seasons, and they're in the 2nd season right now, I believe. So World Beyond, they still have Fear of the Walking Dead's going on.
Right. And then they've got the Rick movies that they're
Yeah.
planning to come out with.
Right. So they've got other stories to
Within
tell
the world.
But this
Oh, and then the Daryl and Carol show.
right, the Daryl and
Oh gosh.
Daryl and Carol, baby.
Oh god.
But I'm kind of impressed with the way they're handling this. So season 10 is over. There's 6 more episodes that they're releasing starting this coming Sunday.
Right. Which we watched. If you have AMC Plus,
If you have
you can get it early.
if you get AMC Plus, the first episode's already up, but the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th they'll be up. I think they said the
Thursday before the release date.
Right. So anyway, basically these 6 episodes aren't part of any season. They're really just stories about these individual characters.
Right.
Some are current and some are going to be past.
Extended season 10. So what happened
Right.
was season 10 kind of ended when COVID came about. And they were already in the midst of starting to film some of season 11. They couldn't get into the production for season 10. So like if you remember season 10 season finale, it took them a long time to get the season finale out because of COVID, because they couldn't go in to do the final production stuff. So and they had already started filming season 11, but then for whatever reason they decided to go back and then film these 6 episodes, which are focusing a little bit more on specific characters. It might be some backstory of characters we hadn't necessarily seen for a while.
I'm excited for
Introducing some of the new characters who we kind of were introduced to there at the end of season 10. And giving, so a lot of it's going to be backstory on some of these characters. I don't think it's going to progress the story a whole heck of a
I
lot.
think so.
Just to kind of flesh some things out before season 10.
I mean, they're
11 rolls out.
at a good stopping point.
Right.
Like there isn't a current threat. I don't think. Yeah.
Well, kind of. If you think about what's happening with some of we can't really talk too much right now.
There isn't. Okay. Yeah. You're right.
I mean, you don't really know if they're a threat or not.
It's probably
They
because
were being held at gunpoint.
they're friends.
Yeah.
That's why they're.
That's true.
My phone died, so I don't have a big monitor.
Okay. So no, I'm just really excited. The one that I'm looking forward to, and I'm sure a lot of other people are too, is the Here's Negan one. So
Episode.
do they tell us which one is it? 6? Is that going to be season? Is that going to be episode 6?
I don't know.
They probably would do that, jerks. So a couple years ago, the author, was it Rob Kirkman, did a hardcover like one-off comic book called Here's Negan. And it was basically Negan's backstory, origin story, and it was really, really good. You got it for me for Christmas, I think. But anyway, it was really, really good. And so in the Talking Dead episode from this episode 1, they talk about how they use that novel or that book as kind of like a storyline, as like reference material for an episode.
It's not gonna necessarily follow everything that happened in Here's Negan.
Right.
But this is their adapted version.
Right, which they named the episode Here's Negan, which the book is called Here's Negan. Right. So I'm looking at it as like, hey, they should follow it pretty close, but
well, and the interesting thing too is Negan's wife Lucille, in the TV series for this episode, is going to be played by his real live wife, Hillary Burton Morgan. So that'll be kind of interesting.
does she hyphen her name?
I think she does.
Oh, that's so nice. You don't
Why?
see that. You just don't see, like in Hollywood, you don't see.
They keep their maiden names.
Keep their
I think
maiden
she's
names.
Hillary Burton Morgan. At least on the little, when they were doing this scene. So the last Talking Dead, they were showing a lot of table reads for these upcoming episodes, and it had their names underneath, and I believe it had both.
I miss Talking Dead. It's not the same. It's not.
Via Zoom.
Oh God, it's awful. It's just terrible.
I know.
Stupid COVID.
God,
COVID ruined everything.
it did. It really did. Like one of the other thing that it ruined was the one D&D show that I used to watch, the Dungeon Run. This is really, I mean, I've watched the guy that runs it, Jeff Kanata. Like, I've watched him in podcasts and things like that leading up to this, but they have this massive table and there's 6 of them. They all play D&D. They're all really great actors, and then COVID hit, and then they had to do it all online, and it just went. I mean, it didn't go to shit, but it went to shit because
It is what it is, just because of what they're
freaking
trying to work
COVID.
with.
Anyway.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, you guys have anything else you want to talk about? No. Good.
Can't wait
to
for
my
Diablo
eyeballs.
2.
Diablo 2.
Diablo 2.
All right, guys. Well, that's episode 234 in the books. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for you two for joining me. Remember, we've got our giveaway, so go ahead and make sure you get subscribed to the YouTube channel or follow us on the 72 DPI online streaming Facebook page and leave a comment on the respectable page about what's your experiences with a live escape room. We'll pick one winner next week randomly, and yes, you can enter both places, so if you're subscribed to each, you can do that.
Can I enter?
No, you cannot enter.
It's worth a try.
Man.
You can make a burner account.
If you win, I have to contact you and say, what's your address? And I'll be like,
I'll send you a P.O. box. I'm going to get a P.O. box
So-
just for this.
so then when when I send this out and you're like, Joe, look what I won. I'm like,
Gotcha.
You better mark it in some way so you know it's the one you bought.
jerk.
Sorry.
Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. We'll be back next week. We'll push the Walking Dead conversation to that week.
I'll catch up.
John's apparently going to watch 3.5 seasons. in 2 weeks.
That's kind of what you've been doing.
That's
You've been watching
true.
like a season a night. I wake up and it's like the next season. I'm like, what happened?
Well, I've gone back and started watching the original.
I know.
Which is really fun.
Well, I usually watch, like I watched Ozark. I don't know if you guys know what Ozark is, but
I've heard of it, but I've never seen
I
it.
usually watch an episode like on the way to work because it's 45 minutes to work, and then
Watch an episode?
I kind of like listen to it. I keep it on the dash so like I can
Jesus.
do both. But yeah,
Hopefully your parents are not still listening.
it's a
to
straight
this.
line. Like it's a straight line to.
This
to work.
isn't on the bike, right?
No, God, no. Truck only.
Truck only.
There's airbags in the truck.
Oh my god.
I'm by myself.
My God. Anyway.
Too much.
I forgot what I was gonna
on
say.
this podcast.
I forgot what I was going to say. I think that's it.
You're sending your closing remarks.
Anyway. All right. We'll see you guys next
Over and
week. Thanks for watching. Peace.